Today I messed up by realizing I was using a tampon wrong for 5 years. So I realized this last year, but I found this subreddit today and this is simply too perfect not to share. When I was around 13, I got my period while on a family camping trip with my best friend. I had gotten my period before, but I wasn't allowed to use tampons at the time. Shout out Latinx parents, considering I wouldn't be able to swim for the entire trip, they made an exception. My mom told me to ask my friend's mom if she had one I could use, and she did. It was a super plus size with a cardboard applicator. Anyway, she asked if I knew how to do it and I told her I didn't, so she pulled out a different one with the intention of showing me and quickly made a hand gesture where she put her 2 fingers out like a peace sign to simulate the opening, and then left the applicator at the base of the opening and slid just the cotton part past her fingers. Well, this made me think that the applicator didn't go in. So I spent about 30 minutes in the bathroom trying to shove just the cotton part of a super plus tampon into my 13-year-old size vagina, and not only was that really painful, but it was half sticking out all day, and the whole trip every time I put a new one in, which was also pretty painful and made me worried that it would fall out if I laughed or sneezed. I decided tampons weren't for me and I spent the next 5 years only using them if it was absolutely necessary. I was sure I was using it correctly because I trusted my friend's mom and it seemed to make sense to me. So every time I used a tampon for 5 years, I did it the wrong way, which always ended up in pain and uncomfort. When I became a senior, I decided that I really didn't like pads either, so I used tampons more regularly at school and got used to what I thought was a horrible design. I used to tell my girlfriends how I didn't understand how they could fit even a regular sized tampon in them and how it hurt to put them in, and they would make comments about how lucky my boyfriend was. Needless to say, I was really fucking confused. Fast forward. I'm a freshman in college now and I had been wearing pads because I decided I didn't want to go through the pain. I was watching a random YouTube video that featured a girl demonstrating how to use different vaginal products to her boyfriend, and when it came to the tampon, she mentioned something about inserting and removing the applicator. Then it clicked. I didn't even have my period, but I grabbed a tampon and ran to the bathroom to try it out. I thought to myself on the way, wow, if this works, I really am the village idiot. Well, of course it fucking worked. I went back to my room and told my roommate what I had just discovered, and she laughed so hard she nearly pissed herself. Then I called my friends and boyfriend because I simply couldn't believe what had just happened, and although they were mostly guys, they knew exactly how to use a tampon. The best part was when I told my mother, because she was under the impression that even though I wasn't technically allowed to use them until I was 17 to 18, this rule was mostly enforced by my father later in life. Friendly reminder that a tampon will not affect your virginity. She was under the impression that I at least knew what I was doing. I'm almost 20 now and I've evolved into a tampon-only kinda bitch, except at night. I used to blame my friend's mom for the mix-up, but as I got older I realized that I really should have done my research, especially since it seemed to work for everyone else. Too long. Didn't read. I used a tampon wrong by disregarding the function of the applicator for a full 5 years.